Caitlin Clark got a little get back at Kelsey Plum.
She was taking a shot.
Could not help but to drag Caitlin Clark through the glass as she did it.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The WNBA is on a hot streak. They're finally turning.
The entire WNBA has been rocked by what happened moments ago. And because Caitlin Clark just destroyed Kelsey Plum in the most cold-blooded, calculated manner we've ever witnessed in women's basketball, she's probably sick to music, her stomach somewhere right now. This was more than just retaliation, and I'm still having trouble understanding it. It served as a guide for completely outwitting and exposing anyone attempting to discredit you. Without a doubt, Plum was erased rather than simply losing. If you're riding with Caitlin all the way, please hit the like button before we break down this complete meltdown. Once you learn the truth, there's no way you'll still support Plum.
You have sore losers and you have sore winners, and Kelsey Plum is both.
We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than them.
We're watching for the league. We're really watching for Caitlin Clark. Everyone's going to be making more because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the numbers.
Well, there's one.
Let's go back to the beginning of this whole thing. Because this was not a small-scale, chance conflict. Envy, covert sabotage, and a player's attempt to dim the light of the biggest star the WNBA has ever produced were the root causes of this. It began at the WNBA All-Star Game, which ought to have been a celebration of unity and the pinnacle of women's basketball. Rather, it turned into one of the most awkward, jealous moments in the history of the sport. Players were pushing the league for higher pay at the time by supporting the "Pay Us What You Owe Us" movement. To be honest, that part is totally justified. These athletes ought to be compensated. However, Kelsey Plum made what could turn out to be the worst calculated decision of her career at this point by showing her hand. Plum made the decision to make a barely disguised jab at Caitlin Clark during a press conference while cameras were flashing and everyone in the basketball world was watching. However, Plum lacked the courage to mention her name directly.
But 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Or her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA negotiation.
Claiming that none of the players on Team Clark were actually involved, she dropped this carefully constructed statement. A clear job focused on player activism and the league's wage negotiations. It was incredibly nerve-wracking. She focused on the player who has brought the WNBA more attention, money, and visibility than anyone else in its 28-year history, and attempted to paint her as self-centered music and cut off from her peers. Even non-basketball fans could see exactly what she was doing because the move was so obvious, so calculated, and to be honest, so stupid. The situation's reality is what makes it even more frustrating. Not even Clark attended the All-Star Game. She was recuperating and managing her own situation at home. She was under no obligation to participate in theatrical performances to demonstrate her support for player advocacy.
Shot at Caitlin Clark during that whole thing about Team Clark wasn't very present for that.
To me, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so.
Plum, she was taking a shot at Caitlin Clark's situation involving the "Pay Us What You Owe Us."
By attracting millions of new fans, raising the profile of the sport, and significantly contributing to the WNBA's unprecedented financial viability, she has literally transformed the entire women's basketball ecosystem. Plum still dared to doubt her commitment, though. The disrespect was unbelievable, but what came next was even more gratifying. There was an immediate and brutal backlash. Take a look at Sabrina Ionescu's response at that press conference. When she realized what Plum had just started, her discomfort was evident on her face. Even analyst Stacey King pointed out how dangerous it is to take aim at the league's golden ticket without sugarcoating the situation. And he wasn't wrong. The story is told by the data. Music TV ratings have increased since the arrival of Caitlin Clark. Products are flying off the shelves. The cost of tickets is rapidly increasing. Almost overnight, music and expansion fees have increased from $50 million to $250 million. Plum made the decision to openly target the WNBA's most valuable asset because she is the league's most powerful negotiating chip in salary negotiations. However, Caitlin Clark demonstrated that she is more than just a lead on the court at this point.
But to say that Caitlin Clark didn't join in on the t-shirt discussion.
This week they wore t-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark. Here she is.
The t-shirt,
just united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
She is a cunning strategist who works on a level that most people are unable to perceive. While everyone else is stuck on checkers, you're playing chess. Music, Clark made the ultimate power play rather than responding with a careless press quote or engaging in a social media spat. She remained silent. Silence worked for her. She patiently waited for the perfect opportunity to react and continued to make headlines without ever setting foot on the court. And it struck like a wrecking ball when that time came. Shortly after the controversy, Clark disclosed a huge worldwide agreement with Nike, demonstrating once more that big companies are lining up and vying to be associated with her. Clark was busy, Music, growing her empire while Plum concentrated on destroying her. However, Clark's discovery that Plum was sharing photos from a Nike event delivered the final blow. Even though Plum had signed a contract with Under Armour, Nike's direct competitor, Clark made the most timely and scathing remark that sent the internet into a frenzy. Appreciate the Nike advertisement. She is earning well over 7 figures from endorsements alone, and brands are lining up with open checkbooks. The business community is aware of what some detractors won't acknowledge, even though some longtime players are still struggling to gain recognition. Not only is Clark the future, but she is also the present, and she is the reason this sport is at last receiving the recognition and financial support it so richly deserves. Music Kelsey Plum has been completely silent since that Instagram comment, probably because she realized she was challenging someone who performs on a completely different level. Music, the same player who attempted to paint Clark as self-centered and uninterested, ultimately lost to someone who recognizes that genuine influence doesn't require loudness. T just exists and lets the results speak for themselves. Plum's efforts to remain relevant hardly make an impression, but Clark's influence is so great that even a small social media comment makes headlines. However, there is more to this tale than just a rivalry between two athletes. What we're witnessing is a larger attempt by some WNBA veterans to control and curb Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. And Music, it's failing spectacularly. The league was struggling with low viewership, little media attention, and expansion fees that are insignificant compared to today's figures prior to Clark's arrival. There was very little national buzz and games were frequently held in partially empty arenas. The WNBA suffered from poor sales, empty arenas, and zero profitability prior to Clark's arrival. Then everything changed. Ratings increased dramatically. Jerseys were flying off the shelves. The cost of tickets increased. Expansion fees skyrocketed and media deals, Music, exploded. Her influence is responsible for almost all of the league's positive developments. However, some veterans react with barely disguised jealousy and resistance rather than welcoming that development. What they don't understand is straightforward. Everyone is inspired by Clark's success. Increased pay, improved resources, and actual leverage for the league are all correlated with higher viewership. They have been fighting for her as the catalyst. Clark has demonstrated why she is more than just a fantastic player throughout it all. She is a leader who is aware of the long game, timing, power, and music. She doesn't seek out drama. She uses criticism to gain momentum. Fans witness it. It is demonstrated by the numbers. Furthermore, history is happening right now. Caitlin Clark's response to everything that unfolded wasn't loud, emotional, or driven by the need to prove a point in public. Instead, it reflected a level of maturity, control, and awareness that is rarely seen, especially in moments where tension and attention are both at their peak. In today's sports environment, where every small incident can quickly turn into a viral headline, it is easy for athletes to get pulled into unnecessary controversy. However, Clark chose a different route, one that focused on composure, patience, and letting her actions speak louder than any statement ever could. That decision alone sets her apart, showing that true confidence does not rely on constant reactions, but on a steady belief in one's abilities and purpose. What makes this situation so important is not just the competition or the moment itself, but the way it highlights the mental strength required to operate at the highest level. Pressure in professional sports is constant, and when external noise is added, it can easily distract even the most talented individuals. Yet Clark demonstrated that staying locked in on personal goals and team success is far more powerful than engaging in distractions. Her approach reminds everyone that success is not built overnight, nor is it defined by a single moment. It is the result of consistent effort, focus, and the ability to rise above challenges without losing direction. Another key aspect of this moment is the example it sets for younger athletes and fans who are watching closely. In a world where reactions are often immediate and emotional, Clark's calm and controlled response offers a different perspective. It shows that not every situation requires a public reply and that sometimes silence, paired with strong performance, can send a much clearer and more impactful message. This kind of leadership goes beyond statistics or highlights. It shapes how the game is perceived and how future players choose to carry themselves both on and off the court. As the league continues to grow and attract more attention from fans around the world, moments like these play a crucial role in defining its culture. Growth brings visibility, and visibility brings scrutiny. Every action, every word, and every performance becomes part of a larger narrative. In such an environment, maintaining professionalism becomes more important than ever. Clark's ability to stay composed under pressure contributes to a positive image of the sport, reinforcing the idea that competition can be intense without becoming disrespectful or personal. It is also worth noting that challenges and criticism are a natural part of any successful journey. The more attention an athlete receives, the more they are analyzed, discussed, and sometimes even doubted. However, what separates great players from the rest is how they respond to those moments. Clark's approach shows that instead of viewing criticism as a setback, it can be used as fuel for growth and motivation. By staying focused on improvement and performance, she turns potential negativity into an opportunity to become even better. Fans are often drawn to athletes not only because of their skills but also because of their character. Authenticity, resilience, and consistency create a connection that goes beyond the game itself. Clark's behavior in this situation reinforces those qualities, making her someone people can respect and look up to. It reminds fans that greatness is not just about winning or achieving records, but about maintaining integrity and composure regardless of the circumstances. Furthermore, this moment highlights the importance of perspective in high-pressure environments. It is easy to get caught up in the immediacy of a situation and feel the need to respond instantly. However, taking a step back, staying focused, and choosing the right moment to act can make all the difference. Clark's ability to do this reflects a deep understanding of the game and the environment she is part of. It shows that she is not just thinking about the present moment, but also about the long-term impact of her actions. As the sport continues to evolve, stories like this become part of its foundation. They shape how players interact, how fans engage, and how the league is viewed on a global stage. Positive examples of professionalism and composure help build a stronger, more respected environment for everyone involved. Clark's approach contributes to that progress, demonstrating that success and respect can go hand in hand. In the end, this situation is about much more than a single interaction or moment. It is about the values that define true excellence: discipline, patience, focus, and respect. Clark's response serves as a reminder that while talent may bring attention, it is character that sustains success over time. Her ability to remain steady, even when faced with pressure and scrutiny, highlights why she continues to stand out as a key figure in the sport. Ultimately, what we see here is a powerful example of how to handle challenges the right way. Instead of letting emotions take control, Clark stayed committed to her path, proving that actions will always speak louder than words. As fans continue to watch her journey unfold, moments like these add depth to her story, showing that greatness is not just about what happens during the game, but also about how you carry yourself in every situation. And that is exactly what makes her impact so meaningful, both now and for the future of the game.